closed on Mondays and Tuesdays. Seems to be a trend with these Eastern National Historical Sites. Hey, it's Roger Ewing Taylor, a man across America. Here today at Weir Farm National Historical Site in Connecticut. Well, we've got our information, so let's check this place out. Here's the Weir house. Too bad we can't go inside of it today. It says here that the American Impressionist Julian Alden Weir acquired the 153-acre Branchville, Connecticut farm in 1882. Home is the starting place, he said. He bought this farm in order to have a place for a summer home, to do his art, and to get inspired. Let's look around the grounds and see if it's inspiring. Here are some examples of the Impressionist art of Julian Alden Weir. Impressionist art is a 19th century form which originated in Paris. It's all about depicting the impression of the moment, especially in terms of shifting light and color. Here's the studio that Julian Weir built for himself so that he could make his paintings undisturbed. Behind it is another studio that was built by his daughter, Dorothy Weir Young, along with her husband, Mahanri Young. Mahanri Young was a famous sculptor of his time who also did a lot of work here on Weir Farm. Going over this way, oh, don't mind that bison, I don't think he's real. We see the barn, where these people must have kept their animals when they weren't sculpting or painting. Here is the sunken garden, one of a couple of gardens they have here on the site. I guess if you're an Impressionist painter, you need to have a lot of nature on hand to inspire you. That's actually the reason why I go on these trips, is to get inspiration for my own art. Since most of my books do incorporate nature. And here's another garden with a nice little fountain. Lots of bumblebees around this one, harvesting nectar from the flowers. Again, as an Impressionist artist, this sort of environment would just be perfect. Wish I had a house like this myself, with a garden like this. This is a very typical New England landscape here. It's the type of environment I grew up in, living in Massachusetts. You'll see these stone walls everywhere. You see the glaciers long ago pushed rocks and stones down into New England. And when the farmers arrived here and began digging, all they found was rocks. So they took the rocks and stacked them, using them as stone walls to mark off boundaries for property lines or for different fields. just like this farmer did long ago in Connecticut. Here's a trail through a very typical New England forest. Let's take a look at it. Many of the forests here in New England are what we call new growth forests. Land was cleared and farms were made, but after the Industrial Revolution, many of those places were allowed to grow up again. So the trees here, generally only about 100 or so years old. You can walk through a New England forest and suddenly find yourself coming across a stone wall covered with lichen, long forgotten. That stone wall had marked the boundary of somebody's farm or somebody's field once upon a time. That has long vanished. Love walking through the woods in New England. Just got to watch out for the poison ivy. That's no fun. There's another stone wall and a bridge. And here at the end of the trail, we have the pond that Julian Weir had built, complete with geese. Again, mostly for aesthetic purposes. Must be awful nice to own a beautiful estate like this, along with your own pond, in order to inspire your art. Who knows? Maybe if a man across America can sell enough books, he'll get one for himself. Down here we have a rock that's full of quartz, also very common here in New England. And now we can just hear the honking of the geese and the croaking of the frogs. Well, that was a pleasant way to spend an overcast morning here in New England. There's lots of pleasant places out there, so like I said before, put down the smartphones, get outside, and go see some of them. You need some tips? Go to my websites. You'll see links to all of my adventures there, as well as information on my books. This is Roger Ewing Taylor, Man Across America. I'll catch you at the next spot.